Hey everyone, have you ever looked at a really intricate tattoo and just thought, what's the real story there? Today, we're going to dive deep into why people get inked. We're going way beyond just the surface to figure out the meaning behind the marks.
So that's the big question, right? What is the story behind the ink? Because, let's be honest, tattoos are so much more than just cool pictures on your skin. They can be chapters of a life story. They can be badges of identity. And sometimes they're these powerful, ancient symbols of just belonging.
So first up, let's talk about the individual. How does a tattoo become like a fundamental part of who you are? We're going to explore this idea of the body as a totally personal canvas. I mean, if you ask someone why they got their tattoo, you're going to hear some really personal stuff. For a lot of people, it's just pure aesthetics. They see their body as a place for beautiful art. For others, it's a fashion statement, plain and simple. And of course, so often, it's a way of telling their own story or even making this huge declaration of personal freedom.
And what this all really boils down to is that a tattoo can work almost like your own personal logo, right? It creates this unique visual identity that makes you instantly recognizable, memorable. It really sets you apart.
Actually, there's a fascinating term for this: red, no brand. The idea is that your tattoo is this incredibly powerful brand that makes you unique and recognizable, but, and this is the key part, it's totally non-commercial. It's a brand of you, an authentic mark of who you are that just isn't for sale.
And I love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. It really captures that narrative power of ink. Think about it. Each piece can tie back to a specific moment. A win, a loss, a journey, something you believe in. Your body literally becomes a living storybook.
And at the end of the day, choosing to get a tattoo is this profound act of taking control of your own body. It's like saying, hey, this is my skin, it's my life, and I'm the one who decides how my story gets written on it. It's just such a powerful statement of freedom.
But, it's not always about the individual. So for this next part, let's zoom out and look at how tattoos have, for centuries, been this incredibly powerful communal link, a mark of belonging to something much bigger than yourself.
Yeah, tattoos are definitely not some modern trend. Not even close. The practice of marking your skin is ancient. We're talking about evidence that goes back at least 5,000 years. This isn't a fad. It's a deeply human thing.
And this practice has popped up in nearly every corner of the world. From the earliest evidence we have, way back in ancient times, tattoos were often these vital, spiritual, and tribal markers. They showed who you were and where you belonged. And now, today, it's just exploded into this truly global cultural practice.
So what's really interesting is that for most of human history, getting a tattoo wasn't about standing out. It was actually about fitting in. It was like a visual language that just said, hey, I'm one of you. It created these powerful, visible bonds within a community.
And this comparison right here really shows you how much the whole perception has shifted. In a lot of ancient cultures, the person doing the tattooing, in Thai tradition, they're called the Kruba Ajahn. They weren't just an artist. They were a revered teacher, a spiritual guide performing a sacred ritual. Today, we mostly see them as a highly skilled visual artist. It's a huge change.
Okay, so we've covered identity and community, but there's a third, absolutely crucial piece to this puzzle: the physical experience itself. Getting tattooed is about way more than just the picture you walk away with.
So let me ask you a wild question. We all know getting a tattoo hurts, right? But could that pain actually be part of the appeal? Could it even, somehow, lead to a feeling of pleasure?
Well, the answer is actually in our own body chemistry. It's pretty cool. So when the needle starts doing its thing, our body's defense mechanism kicks in, and it releases endorphins to cope with the pain. Endorphins are basically the body's natural painkillers, and they can create this feeling of euphoria, this rush, which for some people can honestly become a little addictive.
But it's not just about that chemical rush, The simple act of sitting there and taking it is a real test of willpower. A tattoo becomes this permanent mark, not just of an image, but of your ability to endure. It's a testament to your own strength.
And you see a perfect example of this in the Isan region of Thailand. Historically, men with these kalai, or patterned leg tattoos, were seen as having incredible strength and endurance. This very visible proof of their toughness made them seem fearless, admirable. It was even seen as a sign of attractiveness, signaling that this person was a strong, resilient partner. And of course, there are a couple of other big physical drivers. You have the collector's impulse, where people mark their travels around the world with new ink from each new place. And then there's the simple fact that for a lot of people, tattoos are just a powerful source of physical and, yes, sexual appeal.
So after all of that, we're back to this question, is a tattoo just some ink on your skin? Or is it something so much deeper? A personal brand, a living story, a link to our ancestors, a test of our own strength? Maybe, just maybe, it's a map of a human life. Something to think about. The next time you see one, you'll know the story is always deeper than what you see on the surface.